Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback. In Minneapolis, 6 people were injured when a beta male decided to take his van and drive it into a bus shelter after he alleges one of the people at the bus shelter stole his wallet. And when I take a critical examination of this incident, I see yet another incident in America's man crisis, and I see yet another incident in the season of the Simp. Now, in this incident, I see an incident as related to the man crisis because when I take a critical examination of the alleged driver's actions, they fit right in line with the pattern and profile of many of these beta males out here. Because when it comes down to many of these beta males, they aren't critical thinkers, they do not know how to use logic and reason, and they do not know how to problem solve. And because they do not know how to think critically, use logic and reason, or problem solve, they often do things based on their emotions. And when I look at the actions that this beta male took, it's clear to me that he was more in his feelings about losing his wallet, and that's what caused him to lose his mind and allegedly, possibly participate in this violent behavior, which fits right in line with the spectrum of violent behaviors I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. Because when it comes down to these beta males, they often act on their impulses and they don't think about the consequences of their actions. So this beta male, after it is alleged that he got his wallet taken out of his van as he was waiting at the bus stop, he decides to, because he's so in his feelings about getting his wallet stolen, he decides to drive around the block several times before deciding to ram into the bus shelter and severely injuring all of the people at that bus shelter. That is the actions of an emotional individual, and one that shows some possible malice of forethought, because for this man to drive around several times around the block, make several turns, that shows that he had some sort of intent as related to his actions, and he had some sort of motive because he believed his wallet was stolen, and he decided that he was going to make the people who stole his wallet pay by ramming his van into that intersection and going out of his way to possibly kill all of those people. And when you look at his violent behavior, it shows how completely dysfunctional this individual was, because to go out here and take a van and ram it into people because you believe you had your wallet stolen, that shows that this person was just about his feelings, and he was so in his feelings about his anger, he wasn't thinking about the consequences of his actions. And now, when I look at this event again, I would say to myself, this is not worth taking somebody's life. I mean, if your wallet gets stolen, the first thing I would be doing is contacting the police, and then I would be contacting the credit card companies and the banks to get those cards deactivated, because once you get those cards deactivated, then you have a trail that the police can follow, and the police would easily catch the culprit, because once you take one of those stolen cards that has been flagged, they're going to catch the person who stole the wallet. So this guy, he was so in his feelings about things that he wasn't thinking critically, and because he wasn't thinking critically, he decided, instead of him letting the law deal with the alleged thief, he was going to go out here and take the law in his own hands. And that's something that beta males tend to do as related to their actions, because they believe that they have a right to hurt others because they have been hurt, and because they believe they have been hurt, they believe they have the right to go out here and get their justice by destroying the lives of others. And this behavior, again, fits right within that pattern and profile of behaviors I talk about in the man crisis as related to these beta males, whether it be going out here, anything ranging from a screaming fit to a mass shooting to even events like this. This type of behavior fits right in line with what these beta males participate in. Now, some people want to say a bit of a racial context to this, but when I look at this incident, I don't see it in black and white. I see it as a beta male who didn't know how to navigate through his feelings, didn't know how to navigate through his emotions, and decided that because he thought he was the law, he was going to take the law in his own hands because he didn't want to go out here and let law enforcement do their job. Now, some people are saying that this bus stop is known for loitering, and if I know that a bus stop is known for loitering and people are known to sit there and pretend to party at this bus stop, if I'm driving along, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive with my windows up and put my air conditioning on because I'm not going to deal with these type of people coming near my car. And that's what this guy, I believe, should have done, is drive with his windows up, because they can't reach in your car and steal your wallet if your windows are up. And the best thing for him to do was to have driven with his windows up, so he could have just avoided dealing with that bus stop. But instead of him doing that, he decided to drive with his windows down. His wallet got allegedly stolen, and again, his reaction was not appropriate, and it wasn't appropriate at all. Again, had this wallet been stolen, the course of action that a man takes is calling the police, filing a police report, then contacting the credit card companies, and then having the credit card companies deactivate all of the credit cards he has, like the ATM cards, the credit cards, and then contacting the state department to get a new ID for himself. Those are the courses of action a man takes when his wallet is stolen, because when he takes that course of action, again, what's going to happen is the person who did steal the wallet, what's going to happen is they're going to try to use one of those credit cards, and then once they try to use one of those credit cards, that's going to set off a red flag for law enforcement, and that's what's going to lead to that person getting caught. But this beta male, I believe, is going to eventually wind up getting arrested. Now, the police did take him into custody and they did release him. However, I believe he's going to get arrested sooner rather than later, because when it comes down to his behavior, it's just completely egregious for him to go out here and believe that it is his right to go and drive a van into a bus shelter full of people because he believes one of those people stole his wallet. That only a beta male believes in acting impulsively like this. And when beta males act like this, they don't think about how their actions affect others or the harm that they do to others. It's all about them getting that satisfaction in the moment and not thinking about the consequences of their actions on others. And that really shows how deeply dysfunctional these beta males are. And when I look at this horrific acts of violence, it's just another act of violence in this season of the Simp, where people can wind up being harmed by these acts of violence from these beta males, just like the victims of a horror movie. Because when you have a person using a vehicle to run over people, it is literally like something out of a horror movie. And I thank God that people were only injured and no one was killed, because this could have been a lot worse, all because this man was in his feelings and he wasn't thinking critically about the situation. Because had he thought critically about the situation, he would have let law enforcement deal with the theft of the wallet, and he would have let law enforcement find that person. Because in this, again, this day and age of all of these computers tracking every action you make with these credit cards, oftentimes it's not even worth taking some wallet, because the wallet will have credit cards in it and you won't be able to use any of them. And if you do use them, all it's going to do is lead to someone's arrest. Now, when I look at this incident again, I just see another incident in the season of the Simp. And this is why you have to keep your head on a swivel, because any incident on the street can lead to you winding up in a situation like something right out of a horror movie. If you'd like to learn more about why beta males participate in the impulsive and violent behaviors they participate in, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle formats. And you can also pick up The Man Crisis in Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.